In ancient times, wealthy people owned slaves, and Loghman belonged to a kind and loving master. The master had witnessed his devoted slave perform his duties without fail and with total honesty and loyalty through the years. He was as devoted to Loghman as the slave was devoted to him, to such an extent that the master thought he might even love his slave more than his own children. Although Loghman was only a slave, he had many qualities of a highly spiritual person. His master was so fond of him that he refused to touch any food before allowing Loghman to taste it first. If the slave didn't eat what was offered to him, the master would throw the food away without touching it. One day, an acquaintance brought a gift of rare melons from his farm. It was the end of the summer, but still hot, and Loghman decided to submerge a couple of the melons in a shallow pool to cool them before serving them to his master that afternoon. The day had cooled down a little, and the master had awoken from his afternoon nap when Loghman quickly brought the cool melons for his delight. The master chose a long knife and cut a thin slice of the fruit, but as usual, before tasting it, he first offered it to his favorite slave. Loghman took the melon and gratefully bit into it, and in no time he finished it delectably. When the master saw how much he had enjoyed the first slice, he cut him another. Loghman ate the second slice with such craving that his master continued to give him more and more. Finally, there was only one last slice left, and the master thought he'd better taste it himself. With great pleasure, the master took a bite of the delicious-looking melon, but before he could even begin to chew, his mouth was on fire. The melon was so bitter that the master's mouth was immediately covered in blisters such that he could hardly breathe. It took over an hour for him to regain his composure and speak. "My dear man, how could you eat the entire melon, which was as bitter as poison, and smile at me with such joy in your eyes? Are you your own worst enemy?" he asked with great compassion in his words. "My revered master, all my life you've fed me the most delectable foods. I was too ashamed to complain, as it was the first time that you'd given me something unpalatable. The reason for my whole existence is your benevolence. How could I possibly complain about one instance of being served inedible food?"